What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Marvel Selects Carnage. And so here we have Carnage posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Carnage here does come with 3 different head sculpts. We do have a classic Carnage head, which looks really nice. We have an ultimate Carnage head, which also looks very good. And then finally we do have a head where it's Clay's Cassidy, and we have the Carnage symbiote wrapping around him, which looks fantastic. He also does come with 2 different weapon hands. We do get a scythe, which can peg onto either side of his hands. And then we get a very gnarly sword, which again pegs on either side. He also does come with several different tendril attachments. We do get 5 different tendrils, which you can peg throughout the body, and those look really nice. I like the way these look. And then he comes with 4 long tendrils, which can attach it to in the same ports. It just depends on how you want to have this figure looking, depending on the ports that you attach all that symbiote on. So those look really nice. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at Carnage. And so here we have a closer look at the Marvel Select Carnage, and I think this is one of the best renditions of Carnage that we have ever gotten in figure form. Now he does come with his own issues, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But as far as sculpt and detailing go, this is one of the better Carnage figures. Now, like I said, he does come with 5 different tendrils, which you can see. You can port them anywhere on his body as long as there's a porthole for them. He has 4 right here on his back, then we do have 2 on his arms. I think these are the better looking ones rather than just the straight tendrils, but yeah, it does make this figure pop so nicely just with all that little symbiote coming out of him. It's a really nice look. Now, they did a fantastic job sculpting the figure. Yeah, the teeth aren't as clean as you would expect them to be, but for what it is and how they were doing it, it still looks very solid. I do like that. Eyes are painted in a really nice pearlized white, so that's really good, and then they are highlighted in black. The main figure is cast in red plastic, so all the black you see on him is painted on, and it's very nice. Now, there are some parts where you can see it didn't make the mark, and then he does have a black wash throughout some parts of his body, but overall, loving the sculpt work on this figure. This looks like Carnage, and that's everything you would want in a Carnage figure. I think the tendrils are a really nice touch, and they do rotate if you want them to, so you don't have to have them in just one particular style. You can actually move them around, make it look like this symbiote is alive. But yeah, all of that really nice sculpt work, it really does bring out the detailing on the figure, and it is very good. Diamond Select here knocked it out of the park. The red is done very nicely, and there's a nice black wash throughout the figure, and then we do have some black areas, so that is very fantastic. We do have his regular hands right here, which you can see he has some very long blades coming out of him, almost Wolverine-esque. Carnage here is, of course, a very nasty character, and wouldn't surprise me if he uses these for his extracurricular activities, I should say. But yeah, we also do get some more right here on his left hand. You see it coming out of his forearm, attaching to his thumb, coming out of the knuckle of his finger. Just overall, really not a guy that you want to meet in a dark alley, because this is very sadistic looking, and I love it. As far as the rest of the figure goes, he's just riddled with all this really fantastic detailing. Now, just like with the Marvel Select Venom, this figure has some outdated bits of articulation which really don't look good by today's standards, but when he came out, they still didn't look good by any standard, so yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. It kind of does perplex me why he doesn't have any portholes here on his leg. I would have liked to see some symbiote right here. It would look nice with some tendrils coming out of there, but he has these really thin calves, and just like with Venom, one calf is bigger than the other. On Carnage here, you can see that his right calf is bigger than his left calf. I guess he does more activities with his right leg than his left leg. But yeah, overall, really liking the way this figure came out. The sculpt work on him is top notch, and I really wish that we would get a figure like this in Marvel Legends, because this is a very nice figure to have in your collection, especially if you're a fan of Venom and Carnage. This is a must-have figure, but I digress. That's a little later on in the review. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at how Carnage stacks up to the rest of your collection. And so here we have Carnage posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Carnage posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 112 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Carnage posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have the Marvel Select Carnage posed next to the Marvel Select Venom. So with the comparisons out of the way, as you can see, he is kind of big. He's bigger than Venom, which that's not the way it is in the comics, but being how he is more sinister, I think it works. That's up to you guys if you like him being taller than Venom or if you like him being shorter. But anyway, moving on to his articulation, Carnage here does have a ball joint here at the head, which he can look down surprisingly. Can't really look too far up, but we do get some really decent head tilt as well as left and right rotation. We do have ball hinges here in the shoulders, which unfortunately only go out to about that far. They do a full 360. If you have the tendrils attached to his back, you gotta watch out for those because you might accidentally knock them loose. We do have bicep swivel, which works really nice. Unfortunately, we only get a single bend here at the elbow. For his wrist, it does swivel just below the wrist, and then we do have a hinge at the wrist. So yeah, that is a little bit strange by today's action figure standards, but at least he has a hinged wrist now. Changing out the hands often, you can see it does loosen that joint, so I would just change it, stick with what you want, and leave it alone. We do have a ball joint here at the torso, which works so well. I do like that, and it does move side to side, forward and back really nicely. It's not the best crunch that we've seen, but it's better than some figures, so I'll take it. It of course does rotate as well. We do have rotation at the waist. Legs do kick forward about 90 degrees, so that actually works. Going back, they do go back quite a bit. And then out to the side, they don't seem to go out too far. Yeah, that's about as far as each one goes. The right leg goes out further than the left leg for some reason. That's interesting. He does have a thigh swivel, but it is a little bit lower, just above the knee. DC Universe style classics, or DC Universe classic style, which I'm really not a fan of. He does have double bend at the knee, which is really good. I do like that. No cut here in the shin, but we do have a hinge which goes back and then doesn't go too far forward, and then of course forward facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, Carnage here has some really good articulation. Not the best that we've seen, but again, this is a much older figure, so I guess I can forgive it, because if he was released today, I'd be more harsher. But this is just a re-review. I've had this guy in my collection for some time, and I thought I'd give him another look at. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Carnage posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we do have the Marvel Select Carnage pose for my final thoughts, and overall, this is one of the best Carnage figures that I've ever had a look at. Carnage is of course one of my favorite Spider-Man rogues, and being a very interesting character, I think this is a very nice take on Carnage. Now there are some issues with him. For one, he is very big. This figure is taller than most Venom figures, and I know a lot of people don't like it when Carnage is taller than Venom. I know in the new movie he does appear to be bigger than Venom, but that's not the way a lot of people see Carnage. I still think this is a very solid figure. If he was just a little bit shorter, he'd be perfect for most Marvel Select collectors, but overall, I can still enjoy what this figure is, and even though he is several years old, I still think this is a very nice figure to have in your collection, and this is one of the best Carnage figures that we've ever gotten from any company. If you don't have this figure in your collection, I really recommend you track one down, because this Carnage is done so nicely. I do love the fact that he comes with weapon hands. That sword arm that you see on him right now looks really good, as well as the scythe arm. I love the symbiotic Cletus Cassidy head where it's wrapping around his head. That's a really nice little feature, and the Ultimate Carnage head is a nice feature. If you already have this figure, you know exactly how nice he is. In terms of articulation, it's very dated, but overall this is still a very solid figure to have just standing on your shelf looking all menacing, because that's basically what Carnage is gonna do. Now, if you are looking for this Carnage figure, he is out of stock at the time I'm making this video. He is an older figure, like I have been saying. He does go in and out of stock on various websites like Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. The Diamond Select really does love reissuing this Carnage and Venom, and if you can pick them up when they're reissued, I really recommend you do so, because these are very solid figures and the detailing on them is top notch and really good sculpt work by Diamond Select. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure videos, as well as all my other Marvel Legend, Marvel Select, and other Marvel videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll gladly take a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.